Let's see. Okay, it's recording. That's good. Picking up immediately where we left off last time. We're going to exit the apartment complex here. And press OK here. We have to bring Karth along, and he's also the strongest party member, so be sure to bring him. Start spamming here. Wait here for a bit until he moves his hand a second time down to his thigh like that. Mash left mouse button and 3 here, which will throw a grenade. As soon as you throw the grenade, use mouse movement to move forwards. This guy can sometimes not die to the first grenade, so if that happens, just like kill him to make sure that he dies. Loot this backpack. You might not be able to loot it before the Duros over there speaks to you. That's fine, just loot it afterwards. Mash through this. And keep moving. Larini's gonna speak to you. 2, 2, and 5 is probably the fastest way of getting through that. And now we just leave. So we're gonna go over to the clinic over here and we're gonna buy a few stims. They're gonna be really important for most of the first part of the run. They improve our stats by quite a bit. They make us run faster, they make us hit harder. They're gonna make us better. And make our stat line better, which is really important right now as we're only level like 2 or 3 or something during this section. We're gonna speak to Salcathorn and we're going to not click on that door over there. We're gonna speak to this dude. We're gonna press 5, which brings us into the buy menu as soon as possible. And we're gonna sell everything other than 1 computer spike and down to the blaster rifle. And we're not gonna sell anything else. We usually have around 1150 credits, sometimes less, sometimes more. Gonna scroll down to the bottom of the buy screen here, and we're gonna buy alacrities until we hit 650-ish credits. This usually gives us enough alacrities for the rest of the run. We're gonna buy 3 staminas and 3 strengths. You can get away with only buying 2, but sometimes you end up having like 1 party member die and you wanna reapply stims and whatnot, so just buy 3. It's safer and doesn't cost any time. Then, as soon as we're done with that, switch to Karth. It's important we use this on Karth and not the main character, as if we use stims on the main character right now, it's gonna cause a glitch later to fail. Very, very important that does not happen. So we're gonna switch to Karth, gonna equip 1 alacrity, and we're gonna move over to these dudes. Once we are about this close, we're gonna speak to this guy, mash through this, throw a grenade with Karth, which will kill these 2 pretty much every time. Level up your main character, who should have it level up by now. Save the skill points, this is very important. And accept. Exit to the upper city north, and as soon as you get in here, quick save and quick load. This prevents it prevents the main character from not following you. Like if, for whatever reason, if you go through here without doing that, you're gonna like lose 2 or 3 seconds to the main character just being a bit too far behind you. Once you get over here, about the blue line here, you're gonna open this door. It's a bit faster than just running straight up to the door. Again, at this line right here, at this like butterfly thingy on the floor, open the apartment door and go in. Enable solo mode here, switch to the main character, click on this door and press 2, which will make her go into the lockpicking security option. And while that is happening, run with Karth down this hallway to about this line right here, behind the droid. Switch back to the main character here. Run really close to Largo, like around this distance. It doesn't matter too much how close you are, but you want to be sure that you're able to hit him in the first round possible, rather than like if you're standing over here you have to walk a bit closer, which costs you time. Press 2 and 2. And then just stack up critical strikes, switch to Karth, run over to this part right here, like this corner where the blue and the white meets. Wait for this thing up here to appear, and when that happens, run Karth. Actually, just turn off solo mode before I do any of that. Then run Karth into the Sith Trooper here. and mash through this. Kill these dudes. You want to try and not run into the apartment here. It's not the end of the world if you do, but it's gonna cost you like 2 or 3 seconds. Try and wait for these dudes to come over to you rather than having them, or like having you come into them. Like that. That's pretty perfect. I'm gonna show you what happens if you mess up and like end up having to go into the apartment, or if like Karth just trolls you and shoots one of them, which will cause them to like pull up a plaster and cause you to have to go into the apartment. This guy's gonna speak to you. Like he's gonna automatically gonna speak to you, so you're gonna press 1 and then 5 as a backup strat, which will cause him to run towards the entrance where we came in and open the door for us, which is not open right now, and it's gonna like... It's still gonna cost us time, but it's not gonna be a huge time loss or anything. We're always gonna loot all of the Sith dudes that we've killed here. It's pretty important. I'm gonna switch back to Karth and run out of here. I usually loot with the main character. Like, normally speaking, she's gonna be standing around here, and Karth is gonna be standing, like, right about here. So it's a bit faster to loot with her than Karth. Then I switch back to Karth, run to the exit, and just keep going. Normally this door is going to be closed, so just be aware of that. You can like see which door it is by the by being the second door that has this like little sign thingy past the droid. And then we're going to run over to the trunks that are standing over here. We're going to be killing these for a bit of experience. They give us 150. It's going to help us out a bit. Otherwise we'd have to spend like 15 seconds or so to run to kill another dude, which is not really worth it. Gonna press 3. And then as soon as we do that, we're gonna switch to Karth again, because whenever we speak to anybody, the main character is gonna be the one selected. Gonna equip the Sith armor and keep going. If you get shot here, you can like wait for these guys to die, and you should usually be fine to equip it over by this door, but just equip it as soon as possible. Speaks to this guy, or he's gonna speak to you. Just mash through that. Return to the Ebon, or not the Ebon Hawk, but the hideout. And transit back. This is gonna set a waypoint for later in the run, which is really important, as it saves us like, I wanna say about a minute of run time. Don't security the store, just open it with your left click and go in. If you haven't selected Karth here, be sure to have him selected. He runs a bit faster than the main character. Also, as a side note, if you have a grenade here, be sure to use it in the upcoming fight. I have one spare here, but I'm not going to be using it, as you usually won't be having one here. However, it's really nice if you do have one. Run over here. As soon as you get to this, like, this bow here, you can technically just do it at this line, but it's usually a lot safer by doing it as soon as you get to this floor texture. You're going to start quick saving as you're running. And as soon as you get over to this blue line, do that. This skips a pretty long cutscene, and it has these guys spawn. You're gonna switch back to the main character, have her select the Volcar Enforcer, that's pretty important. Queue up a bunch of critical strikes, and then switch back to Karth. Then with Karth you wanna power shot this dude, run over to here, the standard door, open that, and then shoot this guy if you have to. Sometimes the main character will have killed this guy by now, but usually she won't. And then just exit the lower city, or like enter the lower city apartments. Here you wanna see how much experience you have with the main character. That's very important. If she has anything more than 1050 experience, you have to kill one extra dude in here. If she has below that, you don't have to. Just kill this dude, and that'll bring you up to the experience you need. Like that. So over here I like to run to this blue line right here. Select the first dude, shoot him with a power blast. Go in here, kill these dudes. And then I like to leave this guy alive, because the main character is going to take care of him. And she usually just kills him in like 1 or 2 hits. It's fine. Stand in this black spot. Pure power blasts. Like that. And when you're done with that, go in here. Kill these 2. Which should get you to level 4. So this is slightly complicated. I'm gonna try and explain it the simplest way I can, but basically we're gonna be opening 2 menus at the same time. One of them being the character menu here. I have mine bound to F, and this menu. Or like any of the other menus, doesn't matter which one specifically you do it with. You can do it with the supply crate, you can do it with Footlocker, you can do it with the gang leader's remains. But as soon as we get... we just want to open this menu and the loot menu at the same time. If you don't get it the first try, like if you want to get as close as possible to the opening of the crate as possible, you're gonna go into another menu, like this, click close and open the character menu again. Like that. And it's gonna bring up the, it's gonna make this bug a lot easier to get than if you're just like trying to mash really hard with only one menu. If that makes any sense. So when this happens, the game is gonna get really confused. Like the game is still unpaused in the background even though we're in a menu. So we can do some different weird stuff we wouldn't otherwise be able to. We're gonna select normal level up here. It's very important. Not auto level up, normal level up. As soon as we get into that, press tab or whatever your change party leader option is. This is going to select Carve, which will make the game think we're leveling up Carve, but we're not. Here we're going to hit recommended, OK, skills, OK, OK, and accept. As you can see, we still have the level up, but the game thinks we've finished it, so we have an opening to level up, which means we can keep going for a while. We're going to do this up until level 88. Which will let us do a few sequence breaks and saves us about, I want to say, maybe 5 minutes in the entire run. There's a few techniques you can do here. The one I'm using is hitting enter and the up arrow key, and then the numpad enter slightly afterwards. Which looks a bit like this. And then whenever we get into a feat level, we hit OK, accept. We want to be sure that when we get into this skill menu, we don't hit recommended. It's very important we don't use any points here until we get to the last level up. Otherwise the game is gonna... we're not gonna be able to get enough points. The game might have us, what's it called? Like actually boot us out of the fake level up, which is pretty bad. Another technique you can do here is only hitting enter and the up arrow key, like if you don't have a, for instance if you don't have a numpad or anything like that. You can do it, which looks somewhat like this. It's still pretty fast. And then hit recommended once you get to the attribute level up. Keep going like this. Recommended on the feet. And just keep going until you get to level 88. Don't worry too much about getting this fast right away. It takes quite a bit of practice, and I'd recommend just whenever you have like maybe 20 minutes of spare time, just sit down and practice this. For a bit. You're still not going to get like necessarily super fast, but it will make a lot more sense to you, I'd imagine, than if you just like try and get this on without practicing it beforehand. I'd recommend holding the mouse cursor over the recommended tab down here. As a side note, if you like get into the screen, move the mouse a bit, the game is going to cancel your input. Whereas if you normally do it, you can just press enter despite being on the cancel thingy here. So it's important you don't move your mouse during this section. Once you get past level 20, the game is going to stop giving you feat level ups, and it's only going to give you attribute level ups that you have to hit recommended on. So we just keep going like that until we get to level 88. One thing you can see here as a visual marker is the remaining points. Once it gets to 258, you want to stop leveling up, as that's the point where we need to be at. As a side note on doing this, It's going to be a lot faster if you do it at the actuation point of your keyboard, or of your key press, or whatever you want to call it. Like if you have a mechanical keyboard, it's usually around the halfway point, and if you have a rubber dome keyboard, it's about when you bottom out. Just practice it a bit and it should make you go a bit faster. Like, otherwise it's going to be a little bit slow, but not really super slow. It's still going to be fine, just as a side note if you're going to get, like, really fast at this. Okay, so we're 95, 195, 210, 220, 30, so 43, we're only gonna do one more, and that's 58, or 258. When we get to 258, wanna hit strength here, it's very important. This is gonna kind of log in our level up. So it's actually going to save our skill points and whatever we select in this last level up. Go into skills and hit, or put in 45 computer use. This is pretty important as it lets us do the rest of the game with only 2 computer spikes, despite hacking quite a bit. Security to 91, which will let us open impossible doors. 3D injury to 34, which will heal us up to full for the majority of the game, whenever we use like a basic med pack or an advanced med pack. And persuade to 21, which will let us get through all conversations. Then you enter and escape, and once you get in here you will notice that you can't control anything. You can do a quick save and a quick load, or you can just unpause the game. It's a side effect of doing the menu glitch. Once we get through here, you can do this later if you want to. Like, you have to use one alacrity here. I usually just use an alacrity and a stamina and a strength, just to get it over with. And then we'll run back to the exit. Right here. As you can see, it's behind this droid, with this marker up here. An exit to the lower city. And then we're just gonna move. Here we wanna, like, hide around as we get to this corner. I'm just gonna do this again. Gonna run over here. And be sure to run sideways here. It's, for whatever reason, Karth is gonna have less pathing errors when we run with him in the within the screen or within the visual space. Not entirely sure why that is. It makes sure that he's gonna follow us, otherwise he might not follow us here. Run over to the hidden back base. And unlock it. It's supposed to be impossible, and we're supposed to be speaking to this lady over here to get in, but we don't really need to do that. It's a bit faster to do it this way. And as soon as we're done with that, we're gonna switch over to Karth, equip an alacrity and a stamina on him, and head inside. Once we get inside, we're gonna quick save and quick load to make sure Karth's AI is gonna follow us right away. Open this door, head over to the back here. Again, this is supposed to be impossible to unlock, but because we have 91 security and this door's difficulty check is about at 80, I want to say, we can unlock this every time. And there's going to be this droid in here. Don't worry about these guys over here, they're not going to attack or shot. Just make sure to kill this droid. This somewhat matters, but not really. If you enter this like next screen here with the Karth, you're going to be teleported to right behind the guys you want to be hitting. If you do it with the main character, you're going to be spawning at the elevator pretty far away. The only reason you'd ever want to take Karth here is if you want to not throw a grenade. If you have any grenade you want to throw during this fight, just select the main character and run through with her or him into this part. I usually just do it with Karth since I can't really be bothered. Which will put him, or put the main character behind Garden and Kira here. Once you get in here, we are going to select 2. Not 1. I'm pretty sure 1 gives us more dark side points than 2, and it's pretty important we stay relatively light side during this run. And they're gonna turn hostile, and we're gonna kill Kira first. It's pretty important. Once you get into this fight, turn on solo mode. That will save us a bit of time later. Also, if you get low on HP, go into the inventory instead of using the button down here. That's way faster. It doesn't like take a turn in combat or anything, so like this, heals up instantly. For the most part. Like sometimes it's gonna be a bit later and I have no idea what causes that, but usually it's instant. And we can still like keep hitting and whatnot. We can only do it once per combat turn, but it's still way better. So once she dies, Karth will usually have a level up. Gonna level him up. Doesn't matter if you like using his skill point here, it's pointless. I usually don't. What we do want to be certain to get is improved Power Blast, which makes him deal a lot more damage than usual. This will make him like the strongest dude in our party other than ourselves. He can deal like up to, I think it's... If he gets like perfect rolls, he can get like 30 or like 28 damage or something similar. It's pretty crazy. And then just kill Garden. Like that. He's eventually gonna die. If you get hurt again, just like heal up again. So once that ends, be sure to run over with Karth to the elevator here and loot with the main character. Select Karth again. We want to be using Karth here as the main character's not gonna follow us right away, like if we hadn't done the quick save and quick load in the when we came in here. And that's actually really good for this next upcoming section. I'll go ahead and show you why. So we select Karth here, who is now very naked because he's not supposed to be wearing the Sith armor here. Gonna run him over to this door, about this door frame right here. Like this. And then we're gonna click on this door, or like use default action or whatever you want to do. If we had done that with the main character, Karth would be standing over this door frame just shooting at everybody, which would mean that he would not have followed us far enough in here. Yeah, that's about it. That's the main reason we don't use the main character for running here. Then when you switch to the main character, be sure to both take control and make sure she runs in a relatively straight line, which means that Karth will usually not try and follow her instead of you, or instead of like doing the command that he's supposed to be executing. Yeah, the fourth line here, or the fourth like bubble floor pattern thingy, right about here. I'm gonna switch back to Karth and go in here. It saves a bit of time, rather than running over there with the main character. Once you get outside, you're gonna like remove Karth from the party and just move over to the Black Volker base. Because we killed Gad and Kira, the Volkers think that we have completed the entire quest line and they're gonna bring us directly to the race where we can rescue Bastila. It saves us like a ton of time. It's the main reason we do the fake level up in the entire run. The fake level up being the time where we leveled up like 88 times. Sorry, I should have mentioned that when I did that. We open this door. There's a 55% chance that we won't, or we will succeed in doing this every time we do it, because we're in combat. Normally we wouldn't have this issue, but because we're in combat we have slightly lower chance of opening this. If you fail at doing this the first time, just like keep doing it until you succeed at it. And enter this. Make sure you don't move forwards here. Whatever you do, do not move forwards. It's very important. This guy can just kind of get stuck in an animation loop while trying to get over to a specific like place where the main character is. If you do that, and it just soft locks the game and causes you to have to reset. Mash through this, it doesn't matter. Like basically, if I tell you not, or if I don't tell you any specifics about a conversation, it just means that I want you to mash through it. Click once here. I don't know why it matters, but sometimes this screen is just up for way too long if you don't click once here. As soon as we get in here, we're gonna quick save, do a save buffer. This skips a short conversation with the mechanic, and it points us directly towards the desk. It saves like 2 seconds, maybe less. Stand like right by the desk here. This thing right here is a pretty good marker. Like it doesn't matter if you don't get this. It saves like 1 or 2 seconds. Once you stand right next to the desk, speak to this guy. and smash enter to get into the race as soon as possible. You want to be sure you do the races exactly the same or relatively close to the same every time. That should mean you only have to do 2 races instead of 3 races. Or 2 laps, I mean. Don't go into the 5th gear here, it's pretty important, as you will for whatever reason go a bit slower. So once you get in here, spam, skip that, and once you get hurt doing the fist bump, press number and enter. You don't want to be clicking with the mouse to skip dialogue here, as the mechanic can, or you can like accidentally click on the mechanic and that will lose you a bit of time. Again, do the same thing, just like stand there, speak to the race announcer, do more or less the exact same thing here. It doesn't matter if you mess up a little bit, just like try and do the same thing. You have to beat your previous time by about a quarter of a second. And since you have an accelerator on your swoop bike, that means that if you do the exact same thing that you did beforehand, you will beat your time, or beat Anglo's time in this case. So once we get in here, we're gonna wait a bit. As soon as we get into this dialogue here, we're gonna mash quick save and the left mouse button to skip dialogue and do the save buffer. Load the quick save. What this does is it skips the entire section where we have to fight Prajik, but it also lets us speak to Bastila so we can get out of here. Also, she's gonna pick up Prajik's equipment because she's hard-coded to do that. And we can just get out of here right away. It saves like 30 seconds, maybe a bit more if you get a bad fight. Once you get into this screen, save buffer a bit. And load your quick save and get out of here. As soon as we get out of this apartment complex, we're going to be clicking up on this this button right here, which brings up the map. It's very important. Or it's not very important. If you miss that, it costs you like maybe 5 or 6 seconds, which you don't want to do. So click on this, press OK, OK. Click the map button like I showed you, and transit back. Because we transited back and set a waypoint before going to the lower city, we can just teleport right here and save ourselves a ton of time by just not having to run for like a minute or so. Then walk over here. Normally we're supposed to have T3 open this door, but because we can open impossible doors, we don't need them. Once you get to this blue line here, at Karth and Bastila, level up Bastila, give her 1 dexterity, or whatever, it doesn't really matter too much, but makes her a bit better. Skill points don't matter, powers kind of matters a bit. We want her to get Force Valor, which increases our chances of getting through the next section here. And then press OK. Go into the equipment screen, give her the saber and Precious Gloves, which gives her +1 dexterity, which in total gives her up to 20 dexterity, which gives her a slightly higher chance of hitting with a lightsaber. Then we go into the inventory screen, give her 1 of each alacrity, or adrenal stem, or whatever you want to call them, which will make her a bit stronger. And then we just open this military base door and go inside. Here we press 2. It's slightly faster than like pressing 3 or anything else. It costs us like 50 credits, which is nothing in the run. We still have enough credits to finish the run, don't worry about it. Make a quick save right here. You're going to want to practice this dialogue quite a few times, as it's quite long and complicated. It's the second longest dialogue chain in the game, as far as I know. Or the longest one we used in the NPC run. I'm pretty sure there's a longer one in the All Quest, but yeah, still, practice this one a bit. We press 1, 1, 6, 3, 2, wait a bit, 2, 8, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3. Slightly complicated, but what this does is it opens the elevator door, it opens all the rest of the doors in the place. It disables most of the security droids, so we don't have to fight anyone other than the bosses. What else does it do? I think that's about it. Then, as soon as we get past this blaster that's laying on the ground, quick save 3 times, which will bring Karth past this desk. He will usually get stuck on this desk if you don't do this, and it costs you a bit of time. I want to do this puzzle here for light type points. It's the one on the right here, the one on the middle, and the one on the left. And just smash through this. Open here. Sometimes Karth will get stuck in this room, so just if you feel like you need to save like maybe 1 or 2 seconds, just look behind you while you're running in here. And if he's following you, just keep going. Here you want to quick save, open this door, and load your quick save. This gives a slightly unnecessary or like a pretty unnecessary cutscene. Saves like maybe 5 seconds in total. Queue up some attacks, hit twice with Bastila here, or if she actually gets a hit him, only hit once. Press Shift and 4, this brings up Force Valor. Cast this, which will give the party members quite a bit better stats, and run in here. So this place I usually like to make a safety save, or I used to like to make a safety save. The reason we do this is because this boss fight can go really badly, and it can kill your run if you don't do this. The Sith Governor is pretty gnarly, and we usually try and do our best to just minimize the damage rather than just get the best possible fight. We open the standard door here. Press like 1 or 2, it doesn't matter which one. Pause the game. If you have frag grenades, go ahead and throw one. We're going to pretend that I have none, because you usually won't have any. But if you have some, go ahead and throw them. If you have concussion grenades, throw all of them. Like, throw one with every party member. Each concussion grenade you have will have a 25% chance of stunning this dude. If you have 3, go ahead and throw 3. If you have less, go ahead and like just throw as many as you have. But only throw like 1 grenade each. Throw a poison grenade and a sonic grenade. You will always have a concussion, a sonic, and a poison grenade every time, regardless of what you do. So once you throw those, queue up attacks, run Karth over to this door frame, queue up his attacks, and just hope. Turn on solo mode here. Okay, so that right there was a pretty much perfect fight. Even though he didn't get stunned, he still died really fast. So that's very good. So once that fight is over, we're gonna take Karth, who we're still in control of, go to the elevator. He's gonna open that and just wait for us to go through. We're gonna select the main character, open this, Bastila, he's gonna loot this guy, and we're gonna select Karth again to get out of here. So once we get through here, quick save and quick load. Select anybody, it doesn't really matter which one. Be sure to look backwards though, as again, for whatever reason, as long as these guys are in the screen, they will have a higher chance of following us. Also, if they get stuck on here, say buff a bit like this, they can get stuck on this right hand wall here pretty easily. And just keep moving towards the exit. Okay, so Bastila's not following us, so we're just gonna quick save like 3 times and that should make us follow us. There we go. And exit. Like that. That's probably the most random fight in the game, and if you get a bad one, it's usually gonna cost you the most time out of most fights in the game, maybe with the exception of the final boss. So this fight is it's random as hell. It's rare that you're gonna get a good fight here. I got a really good one here, so if you have to like take a longer fight, just go ahead and do it and see if you can get through it. Once you get outside of here, you're gonna remove Bastila and Karth from the party. Otherwise they're gonna get in the way. Also be sure not to use the level up. That I should have mentioned that sooner. It's very important you don't use it. Equip the Sith armor. You do this by like hovering over here, press enter, up, and then enter. This will prevent us from needing to what am I saying? It will prevent us from having to lockpick the elevator door, as that we'd otherwise have to do at this point. Right here. Like that. And once we're done with that, we equip either the combat suit or our birthday suit. I'm more partial to the birthday suit. Equipping anything else than the Sith armor will let us get into the Javier's Cantina, I believe it's called. Yeah, without having to lockpick this. Overall, that saves us about 2 seconds doing that, like equipping and unequipping armors and stuff, instead of having to lockpick. Go in here. And as soon as we get into the conversation, or when we get done with the conversation with Candace, and get into the next screen, we're gonna open this map screen like usual, like this, remove Candace from the party, press OK, and close this. This will serve as a backup strat for a thing that can go horrendously wrong and cost us a lot of time if we don't do it just right. It also prevents Candace from getting in the way in the later part of the run. So we're gonna press 1, 1, 2, 2, and 1. Again, like I showed you, remove him from the party, close, like that. If you need to go and get a glass of water or like wash your hands, if you have sweaty hands like I do, just go ahead and do it now, because this cutscene is pretty long. I think it's like 40 seconds or something. Once you get into the next screen, we're gonna do a save buffer, which skips us from having to do basically the entirety of Davik's estate. Sorry about that. However, since we removed Candace from the party, you can also, if you really don't feel up to doing a save buffer, you can also just like ignore it. Not having Candace in the party there, again, sorry. If you don't have Candace in the party, it's gonna kind of mess up the conversation with Davik and Callow and have the same effect. And that's why we do it. But still, it's faster to do the save buffer by about 2 or 3 seconds. So go ahead and do that, if you can. So as soon as you see the load screen, start mashing quick save. Load the save. There we go. So here there's a thing you can do that's rather funny if you choose to do it. You can equip the Sith armor, which will let you keep it for the rest of the run. And it has some pretty fun side effects later in the run. It's not necessarily anything, we can get pretty much statistically identical armor later in the run. But I like the Sith armor. Most people that run the game like the Sith armor just because it bogs out the game in a pretty good way. Go over to this door. You're gonna spawn over here, run over here, and open this door. And once you get in here, you're gonna run and quick save. That teleports you quite a bit. As you can see, we just like passed that entire hallway in like 2 seconds or something. Gonna do it once in here. Again, once in here. Open this. Since you're in combat, there's a chance that you won't be able to get this on your first try. If you do, just keep trying until you get it. Also, as you get to this point, make notice of your memory usage, if you have the windowed mode enabled, and the task manager and all of that. If it's higher than 800, don't save buffer any more than this. Like, just run over to the Ebon Hawk and get out of here, but because we have 723 megabytes of usage, just save teleport a bit. Which, on my case, I usually end up having that, but if you have a different hardware setup than I do, you might not be able to save buffer this final, like, little bit. It doesn't matter too much in time, it just saves you like about 7 seconds or so. Then we're gonna enter the Ebon Hawk, click this, and return to the Ebon Hawk. Once we get into the next screen here, press 1, open the map, return to Ebon Hawk, and that's Taris done. There we go. So, I'm gonna end this video here. Hopefully you've been able to understand my horrendous speech patterns and whatnot, but hopefully this is useful to somebody. I hope. Anyways, good luck with the practice and whatnot. I shall start another video up right after this.